Hi all, and welcome back. Yeah, today I'm talking about Pokémon Legends Z-A. With Pokémon, whatever you say annoys someone, so I'll just be straight about what I liked and what I didn't. If that lines up with you, cool. If not, that's fine too. It doesn't mean the game can't or shouldn't be better. As always, I'll talk about this without wasting your time with pointless filler. For the most part, this is still the Pokémon you remember, but Legends Z-A changes a few big things. It's set in one large city, gym leaders are replaced by the Z-A Royale, and combat is now real-time. I actually really like the new combat. Pokémon, if you're not a hardcore endgame player, is usually just about who spams the most damage the fastest, and that's very different now, which is great. That said, there are other parts of the game I like a lot less. So let's start with what didn't work for me, build from there, and end with the biggest thing I want next from Pokémon. So yeah, let's start with this city. On paper, it's a really cool idea. Think of a city like Tokyo that got so big that Pokémon and humans are forced to live together. It makes sense from a story perspective, and it's something we haven't really seen before. But in practice, it's super plain. The buildings look like cardboard cutouts. Tons of NPCs just stand still, which makes the city not feel very alive. And most importantly, it's just not very big. It actually feels quite small. The consequence of all this is that the sense of adventure is basically gone. Going out on your own, slowly growing in power, and discovering new towns and villages had its own charm, and that's just not here anymore. Now about the Royale. The game runs on a day and night cycle. During the day, you mostly catch Pokémon and do side quests. At night, you fight trainers in battle zones. Win enough fights and you get a promotion match, with the goal of working your way from rank Z to A. It's cool. In practice, it's not that different from gym battles, but it feels different enough that it keeps you going, especially because of the day and night cycle. You feel like you want to get things done before the next phase begins. You'll always make it, but that extra layer helps keep the pacing going. Quick note on the side quests. You don't have to do them, but catching wild Pokémon gives you a fairly low amount of experience. A lot of side quests turn into battles, and some even give you Pokémon you can't normally catch. So they're actually quite important for training your team during the day. Now about the combat system. It's real time now. PP is gone, and everything works with cooldowns. The nice thing about this is that you can't just spam your strongest move anymore. That move not only goes on cooldown, it also has a longer animation, and if your opponent uses Protect at the right time, your entire attack can be nullified. Positioning also matters a lot, especially during Mega Evolution fights. If you move, your Pokémon follows you, which means they can actually dodge attacks completely. This adds a real risk-reward layer. If a Pokémon is almost down, do you go for a quick attack to finish it fast, risking that it won't be enough? Or do you commit to a bigger attack and risk opening yourself up to one more hit? All of that feels really nice. Is it perfect? Definitely not. Outside of Mega Evolution fights, movement doesn't always feel consistent. Sometimes your Pokémon follows you very slowly, other times way too fast. And sometimes when you attack, a move like Ember just gets stuck on the edge of a random bush. So yeah, there's definitely still work to be done here, but overall I really liked it. There are a couple of other things worth mentioning. The wild zones can actually be dangerous now, because alpha Pokémon roam around and are incredibly strong. That adds real danger, which I like a lot. Recent Pokémon games felt way too easy to me. That said, the experience share is stronger than ever. If you add a weak Pokémon later, you barely have to use it to get it up to the same level as the rest of your team, because wild zones don't give much experience. You mostly rely on trainers around your level. This does make me lose some connection with Pokémon I add later, since they level so fast without really earning it. Lastly, catching Pokémon now works a bit differently. You can bring them all the way down to 0 HP. When that happens, you get one chance to catch them, and if it fails, they're gone. Combined with the alpha Pokémon, this makes the wild zones feel riskier overall, which I really like. Before wrapping this up, let's talk about the biggest thing I want next from Pokémon. This game really needs difficulty sliders. There's so much strategic potential here that still isn't fully used, mainly because the game also has to work for kids. If you over-level even a little, you can still get away with too much. I know that might sound weird after everything I've said,
because a lot of these things don't bother me that much. But thinking strategically is what I personally want most from Pokémon, and difficulty sliders would unlock so much of that. So, let's wrap this up. The new combat system is great, and more than anything, it makes me curious about what they'll do next and how they'll build on it. This is the closest I've ever felt to actually being a Pokémon trainer, which is really cool. That said, I really hope the sense of adventure returns in the next game by moving away from the city setup, and that we finally get difficulty sliders. That was it.
If you like videos that don't waste your time, please consider liking and subscribing. Regardless, thank you so much for watching, and I hope to see you in the next one.